majority, honestly, the most frank and honest answer to describe them would be kidnappers. And that's who ICE is. Martin Luther King said there are two types of laws, just and unjust. I would be the first to advocate obeying just laws. One has not only a legal, but a moral responsibility to obey just laws. Conversely, one has a moral responsibility to disobey unjust laws. That should be what we as UC-Berkeley students stand by. That was from Martin Luther King's letter from the Birmingham jail. And what we are doing is a part of an American tradition, fighting for equality, to expand the definition of who constitutes an American, that started at this nation's founding, that continued through the abolitionist struggles, that in the face of the Fugitive Slave Act of 1850, which gave Southern kidnappers who were lived under the euphemism fugitive slave catchers the right to go into any northern community and snatch black people from their workplaces and from their homes, including people who had never been slaves at all. And people who were on trial, who had no right to testify because they were black, they were liberated from those courthouses by armed groups of abolitionists. The political crisis that resulted by the Fugitive Slave Act that converted the abolitionist movement from an isolated group into a mass movement led to the liberation of the slaves, the political crisis that resulted in the election of Abraham Lincoln. They were told that they were called radicals, they were called lawbreakers in their day. They were being accused of dividing the nation. They were the first secessionists, saying that states like Illinois, Massachusetts should not be part of a union that enforced a racist law like the Fugitive Slave Law. But in distinguishing themselves from the union, from the nation, they saved the nation by expanding the definition of citizenship that's not proscribed by by race, ethnicity, or birth. We are expanding and fighting for a real definition and rational definition of citizenship. We are saying, unlike the racists, unlike the immigrant bashers who may not admit that they're racist, but we all know it's anti-Latino hatred that drives them, that if you live and work here, we say, if you live and you work here, you contribute to this society, you are a citizen. That's our definition. It's a rational one. And here at UC-Berkeley, a home of enlightenment and thought, that should be our practice as a university. What has made us Americans has not been any idea of a homogeneous culture, people from certain nations. We've always been a nation of immigrants, of diverse peoples. What has made us Americans, what has always united us at certain moments in our history, is our common struggle in our best moments as a nation to realize the principles of equality and democracy on this national soil. Fighting today to break the law, to say UC-Berkeley should defy ICE. Every person, if you work here, if you learn here, should have a right to be here. Every student deserves financial aid. We need the DREAM Act. We need equality on this campus. We, the lawbreakers, the abolitionists of our day, we probably say we're standing for we are the real Americans. We are the ones who are fighting to make this nation what it can be. Thank you very much.
Yeah. So let's march over to California Hall. Let's demand a response now, and let's then go to Clark Kerr. If everybody that can march for a while can gather up by the table, and let's start chanting, immigrants yes, ICE no. Immigrants yes, ICE no. Immigrants yes, ICE no. Immigrants yes, ICE no.
Ho ho! The ICE has got to go! Hey hey! Ho ho! The ICE has got to go! What do we want?